holding a world record is immortal as long as he holds the record. You are the oldest person alive. Most of the immortals on our planet only hold one world record. Naturally, this makes them nervous, and dooms them to spend their immortality tediously improving their skill to make their record harder to break. The more ambitious immortals will forego the usual record padding in an attempt to set a second world record, a term we like to call backing up the hard drive. Obviously, this presents a huge risk. Your competition certainly will not be taking time off from honing the skill that makes you immortal, and will not care in the slightest if you need to die so they can gain their own immortality. I only hold one record, but unlike the other immortals, I have very little to fear. Because I'm the oldest person alive. Being the oldest person alive is a pretty sweet gig. There's infinite job security, and no need to improve on the skill that's keeping me alive. In fact, the only way to improve is to just keep my heart beating, which is pretty easy to do, being immortal and all. Of course, the record also has its drawbacks. My body hasn't deteriorated since I gained immortality, but since I didn't become the oldest person alive until I was 116 years old, it's pretty tough for me to move around. My body can instantly regenerate any injuries caused by the advanced osteoporosis I suffer, but my bones come back just as brittle as they were before. It's a bit of a pain. But my deteriorated body is nothing compared to my biggest nuisance, Dolores Smith. As you may have guessed, Dolores is the second oldest person alive. She currently has a $100 million bounty on my head, which she plans to pay off over a 250-year period. The bounty is pointless, of course. As long as I am the oldest person alive, I will continue to live. But that doesn't prevent the endless string of attempts on my life, by people who just can't resist taking a shot at that money. In addition to the amateurs, who resort to placing crude explosives outside my house, try to imagine my insurance premiums, or standing on my front porch with shotguns, Dolores has also organized several hits from professional assassins. I'd like to say that coming face to face with these cold-hearted killers is the most terrifying part of my immortality, but I'd be lying if I didn't say I had a great time meeting Cesar Hernandez. With my limited mobility, I mostly stay inside my house. I don't meet with many other immortals, apart from infrequent online group chats, so it was a pleasant surprise to find Cesar lurking in my house one Saturday night. I won't disturb you with the gory details of how he attempted to do me in, but I will tell you that his methods were extremely creative and well thought out. I can certainly see why he holds the world record for most contract kills. Once my body's atoms put themselves back in place, Cesar gave me a long look before nodding in resignation. I apologize for the inconvenience I caused you. He extended a muscular arm to me. I'm Cesar. Even in failure, he was such a charming young man. I accepted his handshake without a second thought. Nancy. I've heard a lot about you. And I have heard a lot about you. Cesar paused for a second, as if he were debating leaving. Again, I'm really sorry about this. I know from experience how bad it is to have people constantly trying to kill you. Let me buy you a drink to make it up to you. Now, it had been over 120 years since I had last gone to a bar, but I just couldn't say no to Cesar. We had a lovely evening, with most of our conversation revolving around our shared hatred of Dolores. I really hope she dies soon, I said with a sigh. Cesar grinned, and stared at his reflection in the bar's mirror. It was a long time before either of us spoke. You know, he finally said, whoever figures out how to kill an immortal first is going to become a very powerful person. I nodded silently, and allowed myself a small smile into my martini glass. Perhaps someone already has. Cesar furrowed his brow, and gave me a long, hard look. You must know I need to ask how you did it. I completely understand. With a feeble hand, I lifted the martini glass to my mouth. But you must know that I'm never going to tell you. Another long silence passed. Cesar stared straight into my eyes, with a look that was a mix of anger and begrudging respect. Yeah, I know. He picked his platinum credit card off the surface of the bar, and returned it to his wallet. Well, regardless, it was nice to make your acquaintance. Let's get you home. He was so charming that I almost wanted to tell him, but I just smiled and lowered myself from my chair. I think that would be for the best. Thank you for a wonderful evening, Cesar.